Once upon a time, there was a man named Liu Jin, a billionaire and CEO known for his perfectionism in acquiring hotels. Despite his busy schedule, Liu Jin had a peculiar habit of savoring meals alone, relishing every bite with utmost attention. His palate was so refined that he could effortlessly discern the ingredients and cooking techniques used in any dish. Consequently, his lunch breaks often stretched on for quite a while within the confines of his office. One fateful day, as Liu Jin made his way to his car in a bustling parking lot, he encountered a young woman named Gu Shengnan. To his astonishment, Shengnan had mistakenly vandalized his car hood with a knife, thinking it belonged to her. Realizing her error, she felt a wave of regret wash over her. However, instead of getting angry, Liu Jin captured the act on his cell phone, inscribed his phone number on Shengnan's forehead, and snapped a picture as evidence to be handed over to the police if she failed to rectify the damage before noon. As fate would have it, Shengnan happened to work as a chef at the Rosebud Hotel, where her boyfriend also held a managerial position. Their paths crossed again later that day in the hotel's food storage room. It was there that the heartbroken manager decided to end their relationship due to Shengnan's unconventional appearance. Deeply hurt, Shengnan put on a brave face, concealing her true emotions. Meanwhile, Liu Jin arrived at the Rosebud Hotel during the day, driving the very car that Shengnan had unintentionally broken into. His purpose was to evaluate the hotel for a potential acquisition. Upon entering the room he had requested, Liu Jin carefully covered his nose with a handkerchief, meticulously examining the air quality and humidity. He also assessed the amount of sunlight streaming in and meticulously gauged the level of external noise that might penetrate the room. As the food was delivered to his room, Liu Jin found himself disappointed with every single dish. None of them met his discerning taste, and he even ended up vomiting due to their inadequacy. However, just when he thought all hope was lost, the hotel manager offered him another meal. To Liu Jin's surprise, this final dish perfectly matched his preferences and exceeded his expectations. Unbeknownst to Liu Jin, the meal he enjoyed so much was actually prepared by Shengnan. Unbeknownst to him, Shengnan had managed to incorporate the exact ingredients and proportions he desired. Overwhelmed by his newfound love for her cooking, Liu Jin rescheduled all his meetings and events for the day just to relish Shengnan's culinary creations. Impressed by Shengnan's ability to please their esteemed VIP guest, the manager praised her and the other chefs for their exceptional dish. With that, the manager left the kitchen and took a photo with two girls in a different room. Shengnan caught a glimpse of this moment and her heart shattered instantly. That night, she found solace in alcohol on the hotel rooftop, right above Liu Jin's room. Meanwhile, Liu Jin found it difficult to sleep in his room. He opened his suitcase and retrieved his own set of cooking utensils to prepare noodles. Being a perfectionist, Liu Jin always carried a complete set of utensils, even for a simple task like cooking noodles. He meticulously measured the cooking process, from the precise amount of water used to the temperature of the boiling water. Moreover, he timed the cooking duration according to his preferences, ensuring each noodle was cooked to perfection. As the noodles finished cooking, their savory aroma wafting through the air, Liu Jin was startled by a loud crashing sound outside his room balcony. Curiosity piqued, he hurried outside to investigate, only to be met with a surprising sight: Shengnan, inebriated and on the verge of leaping from the balcony. Without a moment's hesitation, Liu Jin dashed forward, determined to save her from harm. However, Shengnan didn't jump. Instead, she collapsed onto the floor of the balcony. Approaching her with concern, Liu Jin found himself caught off guard as Shengnan clutched his leg and questioned her own appearance, seeking reassurance. In a vulnerable moment, she revealed that her boyfriend had recently dumped her due to her perceived ugliness. Then, Shengnan slowly rose to her feet and headed towards the room's exit. Not wanting his bedroom floor to be dirtied, Liu Jin made a spontaneous decision. He carefully placed the slumbering Shengnan into his suitcase and quietly transported her out of the room via the elevator. However, as the elevator doors opened, two hotel staff members caught sight of Shengnan's hand protruding from the suitcase. Their shocked screams echoed through the hallway, prompting them to swiftly report the incident to the police. Caught in a web of misunderstanding, Liu Jin found himself arrested and confined behind prison bars alongside other inmates. During his time there, he happened upon a peculiar scene: an on-duty police officer making a crucial mistake in cooking noodles. Unable to ignore the officer's error, Liu Jin decided to intervene and offered guidance on the correct method of noodle preparation. To his surprise, the police officer took his advice to heart, meticulously following the step-by-step instructions. Delighted with the outcome, the officer commended Liu Jin for his culinary wisdom, as the noodles turned out to be truly delicious. Before long, Liu Jin's loyal staff successfully resolved his case, securing his release from prison. Likewise, Shengnan was freed from the confines of the police station, thanks to her friend's intervention. Interestingly, this friend was the very person who had instructed Shengnan to vandalize the car. In the courtyard of the police station, fate brought Liu Jin and Shengnan together once again. Prompted by her friend, Shengnan attempted to apologize to Liu Jin for her actions. However, he declined her apology as he had an aversion to people saying sorry. Unfortunately, as they conversed, Liu Jin inadvertently stepped on a pile of dog excrement, much to his dismay. Being fastidious and disliking dirt, he promptly discarded his soiled shoes and returned home by car, barefoot. Unfortunate incidents seemed to follow Liu Jin whenever he encountered Shengnan. On one particular afternoon, while strolling in the park with his trusted staff, he witnessed Shengnan's valiant efforts to retrieve umbrellas stuck in beehives for a group of children. Scaling a tree, she shook the hive to dislodge the trapped umbrellas. However, her actions agitated the bees within, causing them to swarm towards Liu Jin and deliver painful stings. His face immediately swelled, rendering one eye unable to open. After the bees dispersed, the children who had been aided by Shengnan, along with Shengnan herself, lined up and expressed their sincerest apologies to him. Wishing to avoid any further encounters with Shengnan, Liu Jin instructed his trusted staff to present her with a wristwatch. Utilizing its unique feature, Liu Jin could determine Shengnan's proximity as the alarm would sound within a 50-meter radius. Armed with this information, he took precautions to ensure he steered clear of Shengnan's presence. Upon returning to his hotel room, Liu Jin found himself craving eggs. The chef swiftly prepared dishes featuring eggs as the main ingredient. Unbeknownst to Liu Jin, Shengnan also crafted a special creation using eggs. To his delight, Liu Jin savored the delectable flavors, yet remained oblivious to the fact that Shengnan was the talented chef behind the meal. Intrigued, he resolved to meet the chef responsible for his culinary delight. However, upon arriving at the hotel kitchen, Liu Jin was unable to locate the chef who had prepared the remarkable dishes. Unbeknownst to him, Shengnan had encountered her ex-boyfriend in another room. In a vulnerable state, her ex-boyfriend attempted to reconcile their relationship. Still nursing her wounds, Shengnan responded by hurling pieces of meat at him. Returning to the kitchen, Shengnan discovered a note left by a guest from room 1123, praising the exquisite taste of her cooking. Reading the heartfelt message, she felt a sense of validation as the guest truly understood the significance behind the dishes she had meticulously prepared. Filled with joy, she cherished the note, unaware of the identity of its sender. The following day, chaos erupted in the hotel as a shooting incident unfolded. Amidst the commotion, Shengnan learned that the guest staying in room 1123 was none other than Liu Jin. During the turmoil, Liu Jin became aware of Shengnan's presence nearby when the watch he wore vibrated, indicating her proximity. Fearful of bringing misfortune upon themselves, Shengnan promptly distanced herself from Liu Jin. However, as she hurriedly retreated, her clothing became entangled in one of the props used for the shooting. In an attempt to free herself, she accidentally stumbled into the pool, capturing the attention of both Liu Jin and the hotel staff witnessing the spectacle. In the afternoon, Liu Jin placed an order for food with a simple note, requesting dishes that embodied the essence of time, place, and momentum. As the kitchen prepared a menu infused with the theme of time, Shengnan expertly crafted a delectable blend of scallops and beef. The flavors were impeccable, leaving Liu Jin so satisfied that he commended the hotel manager on the chef's exceptional mood while cooking. In fact, all the dishes prepared by Shengnan were devoured by Liu Jin, leaving him thoroughly impressed. On another occasion, Liu Jin savored yet another dish cooked by Shengnan. Intrigued by the profound meaning behind the food, he resolved to meet the chef responsible for its creation. However, since Shengnan desired to avoid encountering Liu Jin, she delegated the task of meeting him to another chef, who was to explain the significance behind her culinary creations. Disappointed by the chef's explanation, Liu Jin took matters into his own hands and entered the kitchen in search of the true chef. Alas, Shengnan eluded him and fled instead. Finally, fate brought Liu Jin face to face with Shengnan in the hotel restroom. In a fit of frustration, Liu Jin admonished her for not actively avoiding him. However, as he approached Shengnan, he caught a whiff of the lingering aroma of cooking splashed on her clothes. Intrigued, he instinctively sniffed the air, trying to trace the source of that familiar scent. Little did he know that Shengnan was the mastermind behind all the exquisite dishes he had been enjoying. Driven by curiosity, Liu Jin devised a plan to uncover the secret chef behind the delectable dishes he had been enjoying. He instructed the hotel manager to gather all the chefs, citing a simulated fire emergency. Obligingly, the chefs lined up in the hotel courtyard, facing Liu Jin's room, while Shengnan took precautions by donning a tear gas mask to conceal her identity. Standing on his balcony, Liu Jin meticulously scrutinized the chefs' faces one by one using binoculars. Finally, amidst the row of figures, he discovered that Shengnan had been the hidden culinary genius behind all the dishes he had grown to adore. Armed with this newfound knowledge, Liu Jin mischievously played pranks on Shengnan. Each time he spotted her, he would activate the alarm on his watch, causing the alarm on Shengnan's watch to sound as well, startling her and sending her into a momentary panic. Despite this playful dynamic, Shangnan grew more courageous in Liu Jin's presence. She no longer felt the need to distance herself, and whenever Liu Jin visited the kitchen to inquire about the meaning behind her creations, she welcomed his presence. However, one day, Liu Jin received a call from a client inquiring about the progress of the Rosebud Hotel acquisition. Upon reviewing the hotel status, he realized that the Rosebud Hotel fell below the expected standards, indicating potential financial losses if the acquisition proceeded. Nevertheless, he couldn't erase the memories of the delightful dishes Shangnan had prepared. In a moment of longing, Liu Jin decided to visit Shangnan's residence when he discovered she was on vacation. He eagerly anticipated indulging in her cooking once more. Anxiously, Shangnan tidied up her apartment in anticipation of Liu Jin's arrival. When he arrived, she prepared and served him a meal with utmost care. However, just as they were about to dine together, Liu Jin mentioned his preference for eating alone, citing a personal rule. Despite the physical separation, with Liu Jin dining in the living room and Shangnan in the kitchen, they engaged in heartfelt conversations. Liu Jin's contentment eventually led him to doze off on the sofa, overwhelmed by a sense of satisfaction. In the days that followed, Liu Jin frequented Shangnan's apartment more and more, relishing her culinary creations. Eventually, he brought his personal belongings and chose to stay at Shangnan's apartment, where he could cook his meals. However, Liu Jin's loud snoring posed a challenge for Shangnan's sleep, leaving her visibly exhausted during the day. As the days went by, Liu Jin and Shangnan's bond grew stronger, and they began sharing meals together. However, one day, the fish dish Shangnan cooked turned out to be poisonous, causing both of them to hallucinate. In their altered state, they believed their apartment was experiencing a heavy downpour and even ventured outside with an open umbrella, continuing their peculiar behavior on a bus. Passers-by found their antics amusing, but this incident deepened Liu Jin's affection for Shangnan. The following day, Shangnan prepared a special dish for Liu Jin. Sadly, when she arrived at room 1123 to deliver the food, she discovered that Liu Jin had been home for the past 2 days. Determined to find him, Shangnan tracked him down to his house, where she found him relishing the cuisine cooked by his personal chef. Infuriated, Shangnan's anger flared as she realized that Liu Jin's personal chef had replicated her personal recipes. Shangnan's jealousy stemmed from considering cooking as an intimate craft, and she despised the idea of her recipes being copied by someone else. One afternoon, Liu Jin's personal chef approached him, requesting a day off. She suggested that Shangnan cook for him in her absence. Despite her lingering anger, Shangnan reluctantly agreed. Although her emotions were evident in her cooking, she even angrily chopped onions. Liu Jin was aware of Shangnan's emotional state as he savored her culinary creation. In the end, Liu Jin announced the successful acquisition of the Rosebud Hotel. However, realizing that running the hotel in its current style would not yield profits, he decided to transform it into an international boutique hotel, aligning with his vision and standards. As a consequence of this transformation, he was forced to dismiss all the chefs working there. Learning about this, Shangnan felt furious and left Liu Jin. Witnessing Shangnan's departure, Liu Jin appeared devastated, while Shangnan experienced the same heartache, shedding tears as she confided in her close friends. Some time later, Liu Jin returned to his home and conversed with his personal chef. After working for him for a considerable period and realizing that he had solely consumed the meal she prepared based on Shangnan's recipes, the personal chef tendered her resignation. Subsequently, Liu Jin visited his father and expressed his disappointment, sharing how his father's interference in his Shanghai business affairs had led to the dismissal of all the hotel chefs. As the film reaches its conclusion, Liu Jin returns to Shanghai in search of Shangnan. Unbeknownst to him, Shangnan embarks on a journey to sell the watch he had gifted her. Suddenly, the alarm on her watch resonates, indicating Liu Jin's proximity. Filled with a mix of emotions, Shangnan rushes to a bustling marketplace, seeking refuge amidst the crowd. Determined to find her, Liu Jin employs the loudspeaker system in the market, calling out for Shangnan's presence. Eventually, he successfully locates her. Shangnan had been locked inside one of the rooms in the market. Together, they make their way back home. Liu Jin expresses his regret over not being able to offer Shangnan a job. However, he earnestly offers her the chance to be by his side. Hand in hand, they find solace in each other's presence as they watch the sunset, their future unfolding before them. The moral of the story is sometimes, the perfect recipe for love and happiness can be found in the most unexpected places, even if it means stirring things up along the way.